We acknowledge that Tri-Cities Community Television operates on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation. We thank the Coquitlam who continue to live on these lands and care for them along with the waters and all that is above and below.
Welcome to the Face to Face. I'm your host, Geneviève Kyle-Lefebvre. The Face to Face is a bilingual series of video recorded here in Coquitlam. Today I am sitting with Jeff Curtis from Boro and Beyond. Jeff is a proud resident of Burke Mountain and he is organizing a cleanup in the community in collaboration with the city of Coquitlam. So welcome, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We are on Burke Mountain right now, so I'm not taking you so far from your home, right?
It was like a couple-minute drive up here.
Couple minutes. Awesome. So we're almost neighbors. But Jeff, I'm curious, why did you started to organize some cleanups? What happened? Did you walk around? Did you see things? Talk to us about that.
So I grew up in Coquitlam ever since I was a little baby, and I moved to Vancouver and came back again. But all since then, I've carried a lot of the philosophy that I grew up with: keep nature clean, pack in, pack out. I live very close to the Coquitlam River, and it was always kind of instilled on me to, treat the environment with respect. And moving to Burke Mountain in 2020, it was we took it upon ourselves to take it even further, do trail cleanups, but we couldn't believe how much of an extent there was of problems with trash, littering, people leaving their bins out, bears spreading garbage into the greenbelt and that not being cleaned up, developers kind of just treating the environment outside of their boundaries poorly and within as well that we've observed. Just overall, we want to spread more awareness around it. A year ago, we adopted a trail officially. So we have our signs up on so we have a specific area that we go from David Avenue up to Burke Mountain, the Harper Park on Burke Mountain, and it kind of shows the extent of where we clean up. But now we want to take it even further. We want to do an environmental cleanup with the community involved, get the schools involved. We have collaboration with the city of Coquitlam. The Park Spark department is willing to help out with this. We want to kind of create a whole an inspiring movement around keeping nature clean, because that is, besides North Vancouver, we're one of the only cities that has so much nature around us and so much involved with nature that it's kind of lost on a lot of people, especially maybe people who have moved here more recently from surrounding areas where they didn't care as much about the environment. A lot of people love Burke Mountain, but it's being developed so quickly that we need to do it in a way that's manageable for the environment and creates the least amount of impact. I'm not anti-development by any means, but it needs to be done in a way that it's sustainable for long term.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think that you ended up finding, you touched on it a little bit, but why did you think that you ended up finding so much garbage and debris everywhere? Like, it's like you said, it's over the year, but is there a big problem? Is there some
lack
awareness?
of education.
Okay.
So there's the usual suspects. You see cigarette butts and dog poo bags. Everybody sees them hanging from branches in the greenbelt like Christmas ornaments, and it's kind of unsightly. A lot of people, I don't know what it is about some people that have dogs. They'll bag up the dog poop and just throw it into the bush. You've probably seen it on a walk before many times. I've counted 30 dog poo bags in one walk in inaccessible areas. So that's besides the ones that we cleaned up on our walks. And the cigarette butts, every week it's over 100 cigarette butts. It's a little bit crazy. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. It's one thing to try and punish people and have people looking out and dishing out fines from bylaw, but if we as a community can come together for long-term change to create the ideals to do more friendly development, to litter less, to know how to pack in and pack out. Not a lot of people know about how to pack in and pack out. That's also something else that's lost on a lot of people. And you hear about it with especially the graduation trips out to the lake, for example, in Chilliwack, and you probably heard on the news all the garbage was left behind. I used to four-wheel a lot myself. I've noticed a lot of that type of dumping activity. It just, I feel like being at my wit's end. I like we have to do something that's bigger than ourselves, that's bigger than just cleaning up. You know, once in a while we clean up weekly as part of our volunteer program up the trails, but besides being so busy, like we don't have time ourselves to devote to constantly watching over it.
Mm-hmm. So do you think the cities or government are doing enough to create
Yes
awareness
and no.
and education?
Yes and no. Some of them they're throttled by budgets. They don't have enough to have boots on the ground. They're running into issues. If they put garbage bins around, people are illegally dumping, so they had to remove the garbage bins at trailheads in some places because of this dumping activity. People have littered dog poop bags around the bases of these bins. You know, you can't, it's a little bit crazy to think that this is like a regular activity for people to be littering and dumping and you know, mistreating the system that's supposed to take the strain off the environment. And I do a lot of wildlife photography as a hobby, and one of the things that was the last straw is taking pictures of animals with my really long lens, and then there's a piece of garbage there in the same scene as this bear that's walking with its two cubs, or you know, there's a heron that's, you know, fishing, but you can see like a candy wrapper in the ocean next to it. I know it's very difficult and you feel like you're pushing a stone uphill, but I believe that Burke Mountain would love to come together, not only for the cleanup, but people want to get together and share a common movement. And I feel like if we bring people together and create a day out of it, I've had Matt Johnlick, Robert Mazzarolo, they're both really ready and willing, and they want to come, and they really want to come and spread awareness about it as well. I'm trying to get Richard Stewart to come out as well. Maybe we could get him to come out.
Wink, wink, Richard.
Yeah. Richard, if you're watching this, come out. It's going to be at Sheffield Park mid to late September. So that's when we're planning to do it. Yeah, it's a very good opportunity. But
that's great. So do you think by bringing people together because the minute you have to pick up garbage, you become right away more sensitive to everything you find because you look for it, but also I feel myself, the minute I really understand something and I pay attention and I see things around because someone showed me, like, first of all, how to pick it up and how to do these things, you know, then you realize, there's a big problem, we really need to do something.
Exactly.
It's going to create also an educational component.
Right, so we have a plan, so there's 3 main creeks on Burke Mountain, and that's Partington Creek, Smiling Creek, and Burke Mountain Creek, and they all have their own green belts. And there are some trail volunteers already that have adopted sections, so we want to put them at their sections and lead groups of people. And Park Spark, Sarah from Park Spark has agreed to give out garbage bags, pickers, and they're going to have an education booth, and we're going to get the Tri-City Bear Aware, they're going to have a booth there at Sheffield Park. So we're going to get everybody together. They're going to educate them. We're even going to have an opportunity for kids to get volunteer hours through this. So the city's going to give out certificates. So Park Spark, as soon as I pitched the idea, they're like, done. Like, let's do something over one of the weekends in September. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity. So that's the main educational component. And it's funny when people see you doing something like that, they get inspired. So we were picking up. There's a whole bunch of litter at one of the trailheads, and there's a kid walking home from I think it was Coast Salish Elementary,
or Smiling Creek.
Yeah, it was Smiling Creek, one of the two, and he started bending over and picking up bits with his hands and giving it to us and putting it in our bag. And I thought, you know, if we can do that by example and show the next generations, like, you know, it's cool to pick up garbage, to keep the wilderness clean, to treat the environment nicely, then that'll, you know, the snowball effect will happen. It's very, you know, it's not, you know, it's not necessarily a good thing that there's peer pressure, but the kids might peer pressure each other into being kinder to the environment. You can only hope, right? And I know you're not necessarily going to get all the kids on board, but I know there's a lot of people growing up in the schools that are very keen to do things. You know, the Model UN kids, for example, are very, they're very assertive about doing the right thing, and those types, not necessarily them, but those types of kids, I feel like will be very willing and wanting to do something like this.
They're the people of tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
So now, I know you talk about it quite a bit in everywhere, and I know I met you at one of the meeting with the Burke Mountain Resident Association, and we're connected. And I said you need to come for an interview, and I think it's important to do what you do and go out there and reach out to people that are actually like really worried and also really aware of what's happening in a community. And I think it's a great way to collaborate. So is this something you like to collaborate with? You mentioned the city, the Burke Mountain Resident Association.
Yeah, so,
are you collaborating
yeah.
with any other organizations?
So Isabel is very willing as well to bring the organization together to do something. And I've mentioned as well, the main thing that if you want people to be on board and to arrive and show up, I said, we have to incentivize it. Let's get Rocky Point ice cream to come out with a truck, and we can get people tickets for free ice cream. And she said, I know the owners, I can contact them. I said, perfect. The more people that we have on board with this collaborating, the better. And I think, ice cream, if you clean up, bring a bag of garbage, and you get a ticket for free ice cream, I think a lot of people.
It would work with my children. Let's put it like that.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Well,
That's
we're
a
gonna
good
get all the
incentive.
kids, all the kids in the community wanting to pick up garbage so they can get some ice cream.
So what do you think an initiative like this, what kind of impact this would have on the Tri-Cities? I mean, we're talking locally Burke Mountain here, but really, it has an impact.
So
sometimes further than what we think.
So I would almost call this like a pilot project, and I would want other leaders in other communities, because I know on Westwood Plateau they would have something similar, and of like a residents association, and to create something like this, bring everybody together and create another day of cleaning up and information. And ultimately, like I myself am pretty limited in my capacity based on how busy I am constantly.
Yes. We all need to.
Yeah.
We know it's expensive to live here.
Yeah.
Right?
So sometimes you need to delegate a little bit.
Yeah.
And if other people in other communities are willing to kind of pick that up a little bit, that would be pretty cool, I think, to create. It's almost like pay it forward, everybody starts to know about it, and it kind of will spread from there. And hopefully with enough coverage from the media and things like that, the information can get out there, and, we can create a model that will facilitate this in every city. No matter where you take it, you can take the same model we do up here and bring it to Burnaby, for example. People can clean up Deer Lake Park or something, right?
Yes. I know some people that are cleaning lakes. I know some other people that are doing different things, and we had them on the show before because we think it's amazing when people do. And I love that you decided by just being aware. As a resident, that doesn't work for me. And this is not where I want to live. I don't want to really live in a city or in a region where there's garbage everywhere, because we know, like, it's developing. There's a lot of developers. There's a lot of things. But like you say, garbage has been there for a long time. I'm sure you pick something out of there that's been sitting there for.
Oh yeah.
People thought nobody's gonna ever be here, right?
The leaves will fall, and it creates a layer, right? So sometimes
you don't see it.
There's so many different layers that we have to literally dig through. And as I was saying as I was saying at the town hall in Coquitlam there, it literally, plants are growing through old fencing that's been like discarded in the forest there, and they have to especially find ways to extract it without harming the growth around it. So a lot of the time, it is kind of, people will think just sweep it under the rug, it'll get buried and forget about it, but nature doesn't forget, right? And
yes. So what do you think is the impact of having all this hidden garbage everywhere on the environment?
I think it could, everything from leaching chemicals to microplastics to things that could even tangle up with birds. The fencing was that orange temporary fencing, and if a bird falls or even walks on the ground and gets caught in that, then it's over for it. It's kind of like those little pop can rings. They'll just get stuck in it, and and starve to death, right? A lot of the time as developers, the tradespeople aren't really educated well enough on how to respect the environment. We've found a lot of developer debris and dumping that's been overflowing over greenbelt boundaries into the sensitive areas that we've extracted with the Coquitlam Park Spark staff. They sent us a pickup truck, and we filled the bed of it with debris around construction sites. So a lot of the time we see a lot of little bits, and they're getting ground into the dirt and the plants, or even around, because, you know, they have the machinery going over it. They're clipping things, cutting things, and they just toss them to the side, and nobody's cleaning up. So our best
They're cleaning maybe the big things, but all these little things are
and it's
just
and then they put grass over top of it too.
Oh, wow.
So that's being done on even public property. So we found that on our own property. We resodded our grass, and we had to dig it all up and resoil and sod, and all the soil had bits of plastic. I found a rusted razor blade, like you know, the box cutters, we break it off, right?
Yeah.
A couple of those were in the soil, all rusted underneath where the sod was laid. There was wrappers for this and that, and little bits of concrete too. It's crazy, because that's what happens inside of construction sites too. They just a bunch of bits everywhere, and then
They bury things.
yeah,
also,
and then
right?
they put their big dump truck full of soil, spread it, and not their problem anymore.
Not their problem anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, so it's a matter of you have to ride a fine line between education and punishment, because these construction sites, they need to be educated. A lot of the time, the tradespeople, they don't care, and so it starts at the top, that they need to know, like, this is not okay. And we're also in contact with bylaw whenever we see this kind of thing happen. We've reported a few sites to bylaw, and a few days later, you notice like 95% of the debris around the site is all cleaned up, because bylaw will go and they'll find them, and then they'll check back every so often. If it's not clean, they'll issue another fine and another one. So bylaw is really, really responsive. They're very, very quick to be on top of it, and I'm very happy with the fact that Coquitlam does take that type of thing very seriously.
Mm-hmm. I do feel that if you go around and then you report, you keep your eye around, and then those sites eventually they finish, they're done the project, and there's new ones starting, and then you have to watch again, right? Because there's new project, new builders, and they're not all bad, but we have to watch, right? So it's an ongoing things as resident. Then we have to watch. Have you had that experience to, you have to, now you start your round all around and check everybody.
I say pushing a stone uphill, that's kind of what I mean. It's a never ending battle. It's crazy sometimes. I'm going insane sometimes, just trying to, I'm not myself staying on top of it, but just figuring out like when to go, where to check, when to check, and then what to check for, right? And you find it's like whack-a-mole. You deal with one problem somewhere, and then all of a sudden there'll be a huge problem starting up right there, right, in another spot, and then you deal with that one, and so on and so forth. But like I said, bylaw, they're very on top of it. We notice that a lot of the ones along our route are starting to kind of behave themselves a little bit more.
They know you live close, right?
Yeah, they know somebody's watching them.
They know someone's watching. So which area of Burke Mountain, in your opinion, still needs a lot of cleaning?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
And do you think
there's so much development everywhere.
Wow, okay.
Constantly happening and popping up, right? And then the new tradespeople come in, because they have different phases of the development, right? The digging part, foundation, and then the framing, and then this and that, right? So when you have the different levels of tradespeople come through, different things require attention.
So you have to watch throughout the steps also.
Yeah, so it's good where every week we're going up, right?
Wow, okay. And do you think other places other than Burke Mountain are also in the same situation here in the Tri-Cities?
I think not, barring developer issues, I think everybody shares the same problems.
Okay.
There's always dumping at dead ends that you probably see the no dumping sign, right? But people,
There's a reason why it's there, yeah.
But people literally dump under the sign,
Yeah.
in the
Oh, yeah.
in the dead of night. That's crazy. But down by the river, the trails, people, there might be teenagers that are just, careless. They throw their Slurpee cup into the bush, or, people have a picnic down at the beach and they just, leave some of their trash down there. I found that when Poco did kind of allow for alcohol consumption down on the river in parks, I don't know if they still do, but
I think so.
I noticed a huge uptick in empty cans floating in the river.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, so people down at the beaches floating on the river, they just toss their can like carelessly, and so I would float down the river, and we saw probably at least 24 cans on a couple kilometer route. So it's like it's everywhere. It's so widespread. You just feel like you kind of become numb to it. And just say, oh yeah, I expect when I go down into this spot, I'm going to see trash. Oh yeah, there's another pile of trash. So,
I don't want to compare Canada with other country, but I have visited Mexico, and when you get to your resort, it's always nice if you do an all-inclusive type of thing. Let's put it like that. You get there, it's beautiful, but on your way out, if you just look out the window, there's garbage. There's so much garbage everywhere,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking about that and thinking, if we're not careful, well, this is what's going to happen. Like your little place is going to be nice maybe because they find manicure in my own little place, but on the other side of my fence, if I don't take care of it, like in Mexico, it's garbage everywhere. It's horrible to look at. And I think it's maybe extreme when I'm talking about, right? But like you said, you found stuff that was deep in there and all this. That's not very far from that.
yeah, so I've been abroad. I've definitely seen some things. I won't say like which countries I've been to, and like it's pretty bad. But I think in comparison, in other countries it can be like it just like you're speechless, right? You can't even think about how it got that bad, and nobody's done anything about it. But here I feel like we have so much pride about our nature, our wildlife, our environment, that that's one of the things that we have going for us. And when we have visitors coming and say, "Wow, I heard so much about your environment, how beautiful, clean it is." Oh, but there's garbage everywhere here too. It seems like it's inescapable. But I feel like why not be able to go to at least one place into nature and be able to escape the trash and that's just constantly there.
It's hard, yeah. It's hard. It's all over, and is by talking about it. So what's the hope? You started doing this, and now you are bringing education. You're relying, like you're bringing people together, and to create some pickup events and trash pickup. And so, what do you want with all this? What's the hope?
I just want more people that maybe aren't or haven't smartened up to smarten up, and by collective behavior and seeing how so many people are doing the right thing, that maybe they think like, oh wow, maybe I'm the minority in this, maybe I'm the one that's ruining everything for everybody. And maybe the person that is throwing their cigarette butts onto the trails all the time, if we can convert even just one of those smokers to use a portable ashtray pocket instead of throwing their cigarette butts, we can prevent lots of water contamination through that, because
Fire, maybe.
yeah,
We're
and
talking
that
about
was
fire
that was
now.
the other thing too, is that you can also prevent forest fires. And I've seen people flick their butts out the window when it's the dead of summer, and it just boggles my mind that people still behave like that. I think that we as society have a long way to go, but if we can present this in a cohesive manner and create something that everybody can get involved with and feel like, oh wow, this is something that I can do to protect my local environment as well, and educate a little bit and receive that education, then our job, I feel like has been completed. But having the city of Coquitlam to back us up on that, to have the educational aspect, and to really hit that point home, I think is a really important thing, because one thing I was talking about, if you want people to be educated and to put in that kind of work for this, you have to incentivize it, especially for the community at large. And things like the volunteer hours and the free ice cream or something else. We're going to have, my goal is to have ice cream because that's what the kids want. We want to mostly educate the kids and the parents too.
Yeah, of course.
But that, I feel like, you know, the scoop of Rocky Point ice cream after cleaning up a little bit of trash, if I was a kid, I'd be all over that too.
Absolutely. You know? You can transform it into a game and create some awareness. So if people wants to volunteer, how can they reach you and what kind of position do you need? Are you in need of volunteers, or tell me?
So currently we're in the planning stages, but mid to late September, we're going to figure this out. It is the date that we're one weekend in that time. Kids will all be settled into schools. The teachers will have all their lists and everything like solidified, and then we can contact the principals and get awareness built around that. I think for now, we're kind of looking for trail adopters that are through the city of Coquitlam.
How can people do that?
So Park Spark is a Coquitlam initiative, and if there's any trails or catch basins or I think ponds, some of them as well, you can adopt them, keep them clean, and you have to do it officially through the Park Spark email. It's blanking on me, but just search Park Spark on the Coquitlam website.
And then you can adopt a trail. And what does that mean? You adopt a trail, now you have to take care of your trail.
So for 6 months of the year during the fall and winter time, you do it every month, and you go and clean up. They give you garbage pickers, bags, supplies.
The picker, you mean
it's like the stick with the pincher at the end.
The pincher, thank you. Yes.
So you don't have to either bend down or use your hands. And they'll give you gloves. They'll give you garbage bags. They give you a high vis vest and everything. So that's all basically given to you to clean up in your efforts. If you need bags, just contact them. They'll resupply you as well. During the spring and summer months, it's every week that you have to commit to, and then you just kind of report. You have like a log about anything, debris, vandalism, things like that, including the notes that you might have. But yeah, it's a really great thing to do. I highly recommend it. It's very rewarding to see after you go up the trail, clean up, and you come down and see how pristine it is on the way back down.
Right.
Yeah.
If you do it quite often, it's not so extensive.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up as you go. So is it what, we see, like we would walk around and we see the name on people's trail. Is it what it is?
Yeah, so you also get a plaque. So
Yes.
that's one of the benefits too. So
It's an incentive. I like it.
Yeah, so
So you have to keep it clean.
exactly, and then
Okay.
and then people know who's keeping it clean too. Yeah, so that's
So if
really
you're not
cool.
doing it,
Yeah.
that's why I was wondering about that. Okay, well that's excellent. And I guess people cannot really give donation because you're not a registered society, right? So we cannot give money.
No, but what we're going to do is we're going to work with the developers. They're going to pitch in money for this to sponsor it.
Okay.
And so a lot of the things that will cost money, like the ice cream truck and other food and
Yes.
activities, and we might hire like a face painter and like an entertainer to do some acoustic music. So those we're looking for developers that they can put their name on a project to say, hey, we contribute to the community as well. We help clean up through this initiative, and it'll help. It's incentive for them to have the community look more favorably upon them as well. So we feel like that's a good source of the. So we're not necessarily looking for donations, but we're looking for developers basically to cover the costs, and we're not looking to make a profit on this. So.
No, it's for the community. And where do you think the event's going to be? In a park?
Yeah, so
like,
Sheffield
we're going to
Park.
get together at Sheffield Park? Okay.
So all the trails lead relatively from the bottom of Victoria, or like along Victoria, up to the David is the kind of divider, and then that's the south side, and then the creeks on the north side up to Harper Park, and then we're going to have them meet at Sheffield Park, where they have facilities like washroom and everything.
Okay, perfect. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for everything you do. I think it's amazing, and we're looking forward to that event coming up in September. And if someone wants to reach you, where can they reach you?
They can reach me at boroandbeyond@gmail.com, BOROANDBEYOND@gmail.com.
Thank you so much. From the Tri-Cities Community Television and myself, Geneviève Kyle-Lefebvre, thank you so much for watching.